két nagyon jövőbe tekintő és jövőorientált úriember fog egymással beszélgetni új témákról. Az előadás egyébként angol nyelven fog zajlani, mert hogy a két résztvevő, Ricardo Maia, aki a Narimatónak a társalapítója, illetve Moldován Csaba, aki meg a HiVenturesnek a venture partnere, fogják majd megtartani ezt az előadást. Igen, ez lesz a beszélgetést, Csaba már meg is jelent, és Rikó is itt van közöttünk, úgyhogy át is adom nekik a szót. A téma HR Tech Buzzwords, Trends for 2021. Please guys, stage is yours.
I would say hello to everyone. Thank you, Csaba, for the introduction. And let's start to jump into the buzzwords in 2020 and 2021.
Thank you, Csaba, and thank you everybody as well to be here and to watch this little presentation of ours. I would like to invite all of you also to visit our page at Narimato, www.narimato.com. If you have the time, just go there. It's a simple survey that we are doing for the HR professionals in the field. But yeah, so Csaba, the thing that we are going to talk right now for this very little short time is the buzzwords and the trends for 2021. And what I would really like to see and what I would really like to comment about it is that, first of all, HR is in the front run of all of the businesses. HR is today in the place where fintech was 5 years ago. It has a lot of attention, especially now that we have a pandemic situation, and the most prominent buzzword of all is remote working, right? But going a little bit beyond the typical buzzwords that we have, such as remote working, work from home, or I don't know, like cloud-based work, I want to talk a little bit about really things that are a little bit more in depth of the HR and something that is not very usual, and things that we don't really see everyday people talking about, such as, for example, what is the real use cases of blockchain, for example, or funny stuff like Bring Your Kids Friday, which is...
I would say we will talk about a lot of industry buzzwords like machine learning, AI technologies, how it came to every day and how it's failed every day, actually. Just an interesting fun fact, we are always talking about AI, HR technologies, and we always face and question about how it will change the future of HR. But as always, we receive scandals regarding AI. If you remember, yesterday we talked about this recent scandal which came from huge companies where AI, which trained by people and which taught by the people, choose to be racist or chauvinist recently, and there was the situation with Amazon and recently with Facebook.
Yeah, that's crazy, because people usually think that, okay, the machines will take over humanity, but first of all, machines are programmed by human beings, so even the codes have biases, and this is something that people usually don't think about it, right? But to go a little bit beyond that, things that really are shaping the work of HR professionals nowadays, of course, the technology is bringing more power into the HR offices or into the HR departments. But for example, things like learning and development. Learning and development is a real trend nowadays, because people are looking for much more now how to, first of all, onboarding employees, how to keep engagement with employees, how to train these employees, and more importantly, if I have a remote working employee, how do I do all of this stuff if they are remote, if I don't have the contact, if I don't have, this constant interaction to see if the person really understood what I told. And those things are all important because, well, companies are looking much more, another buzzword coming, wellness for the employees.
Before we are going to wellness, let's talk about why this situation came recently because of the pandemic.
Just a second.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
But they still need profit. But before we go to the wellness.
Yeah, before we are going to the wellness and before we are going to the profit part, which is always important, like, well, for example, talking about ROI of HR and other buzzwords. First of all, because of the pandemic situation, people influence is reduced. They cannot get as much information from everyday life as they had before. So the work-life balance just disappeared recently. And as they are stuck to digital technologies and they has this FOMO feeling, which is another buzzword, this fear of missing out, they just connected to their phone, their social network, they video conferences like this one, and FOMO came as an everyday situation, and all of this well-being, educational and other solutions came from HR professionals is try to reduce those kind of dopamine overdoses from these digital technologies. So I already dropped a few buzzwords like FOMO, dopamine overdose. Let's talk about this.
Dopamine diet, right? People say that they are into this dopamine diet. It's funny you mentioned that there is a very famous talk from Simon Sinek. Who hasn't watched that, right? When he talks about the generation and how this generation is addicted to the buzzing of the phone because that gives you dopamine and that's a stimuli, right, that you receive every time. Of course, people are getting more and more into these things. We are junkies of the social media.
Yeah, let's just clarify this. Nowadays, because of the pandemic and because of this dopamine overdoses, we are in the same situation by ourselves. Like if we are a drug addict or an alcohol addict, so we have the same connection to dopamine as drugs and alcohol and cigarettes. Smoking creates connection to their habits. And when you said dopamine diet, it is the need to move out from these digital stuffs.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that things that we should really pay. Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to move forward because right now we have a lot of buzzwords. We will explain.
If we are going to, we can talk about one buzzword for a whole day, actually.
Absolutely, but let's drop some other one because as we discussed before, a lot of trending words as buzzwords came because of the pandemic, which were here with us many years ago. So it came not because of the pandemic, but it went more and more popular recently. And there are some very famous one, like too many tabs. I just read it from my notes.
Too many tabs, yes.
Yeah, it came because of people asking each other because they are sending emails, sending URLs and presentations to each other digitally, and people who working with browsers, they are opening a lot of tabs. They can't see what they opened before, and this phrase like too many tabs came recently in the US as a sentence to explain why I failed, why I forget to answer, why I forget to see the presentation. Mm-hmm. So do you have other buzz sentences, what people started to use in 2020, 2021, and they have a different meaning today?
Absolutely. we have a lot of them. But I just want to put a little pin on this I have too many tabs issue. For example, we are talking about a consequence of lack of focus, right? And lack of focus is also a trend because, okay, how do companies now try to engage their employees in a way that they have focus on their work and they don't have the 1 billion tabs open, right? So this is one thing that we actually should really pay attention to in these times. Another buzzword or buzzwords is actually a sentence. It's turn off your camera.
Yeah, I love that one. Turn off the camera, means that the bandwidth is not good. But turn off the camera means that you don't have to explain it to me. We don't need a clear picture. We know we do have the common understanding. So please stop explaining. So turn off the camera and move forward. I love that one. And actually, if we are talking about this conversation stuff like video calls and others, the most famous sentence of 2020 was, "You are muted."
Yes, you are muted. Definitely.
You are muted. And you know what does it means recently, how they transformed this sentence?
It's I don't understand you, right?
Yes, it's I don't understand you. You are talking to me, but you are muted. I don't understand you. I don't get you.
So I'm explaining something really, really extensive, and then you're lost, and then okay, either you're muted or you're fading, or the call is not good. Can you repeat? This is actually really true. Even if you read, or even if you could hear the person, you don't understand, you just say, "Can you repeat?" Because the call was not that good.
Yeah, and about if we are talking about trends, and we also start to talk about buzzwords, let's talk about trending habits. Like, do you wear pants when you have a video conference or a meeting with your coworkers? Yes or no? I just wrote it to the chat, so please put your answer in the chat. Be honest. We would like to collect it, and we will provide some giveaway for a lucky one with the buzzwords. I don't know.
A pack of underwear.
A pack of underwears. Yes. Okay. Let's going back to the serious buzzwords.
Did you know that VR is the new way of making employees engaged and trained? Did you know that it's 4 times that an employee can learn and be onboarded 4 times faster if they are using VR? This is actually a research from PwC. They went through companies that are using VR for their employees into the onboarding section and the learning and development section, and they discovered that it's so effective that it's even 4 times faster and more engaging. And moreover, for companies with more than 500 employees, it's cheaper than creating sessions live.
Absolutely, I fully aware this, and as we talked about a few minutes ago, every buzzwords came recently from the pandemic situation is here, not from the pandemic, but it came before. I would say 10 years ago, I worked with a VR company who provided a HR solution for onboarding and for situation when where they trained the employees when the availability of the training materials was hard. For example, airplane engineers who has to change 100 or many 100 kilos engine in the VR, they can do the preparation without weighting 200 kilos engines or propellers. So VR is very, very good, not only in onboarding, but it's
they
training.
predict that with the growth of computational skills and the Moore's law, we are going to have more trainings in VR. It's going to be like a norm in less than 10 years for companies that have a lot of people. Imagine this, that you have a company where people need to really do operational stuff, right? So moving stocks or doing things. And if you do it in an environment where you can actually fail and engage in an environment where you can actually be rewarded, like a gamification of sorts or something like that, the report actually says that people feel even more emotionally attached to the training than if they would be doing it in real life, in live form. So it's impressive. I think that VR is really, it's a buzzword, like VR, like virtual reality, and augmented reality, so AR, VR and AR. And I think it's something that it's really coming strong for the next years.
Yes, and as you mentioned, VR is a solution for engagement. But what about detachment?
Amazing buzzword. Amazing buzzword.
It came recently, and it
Yes.
grows more and more every day. I hear much more time than before.
Yeah, when people are working remotely, if they don't have the right leadership and the right approach for what they need to do and the purpose of what they are doing, the detachment of the people are increasing like exponentially. And very few companies actually know how to deal with this, because detachment is very closely related to the fluctuation of the company itself, right? And well, this actually works or is working or is happening, is a phenomenon that is happening very much into startups, especially because they deal very much with developers, and developers can feel detached really, really quickly, because imagine that I'm just doing coding, right? And if I have a community that is supporting me behind, if I have a community that is together with me all the time, such as companies that provide this kind of service. I saw this company like a day ago. They provide trips for people that work remotely, and they create this whole community. It's not really a co-working space, but more like a community that travels together, that goes to places together, and people are curated by a person, and and companies, if companies are not good enough to engage these people, they will get detached from what they are doing really quickly.
Absolutely. Another buzzword came recently for HR professionals is human advertisement. It's like a street advertisement when we use for our employees as an empower engagement. And what I'm talking about, it came before the COVID, when we used the advertisement on the T-shirt. But recently, when we are wearing masks, more and more companies create logos and company brands on masks and give away it for their employees.
Interesting. I haven't heard about this one, to be honest.
But did you saw it on people?
I mean, I saw people wearing masks with their company logos, of course.
And it's a part of employee engagement, because if they wear it, they proud where they are working,
and also feeling a part of it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like wearing the shirt of the company or the hoodie of the company.
Absolutely. But mask is completely the front of the other's eyes, because you are looking to the other's eyes and it's there directly.
What about blockchain?
I love this topic. Recently NFT came to be popular. You know what is NFT? It's the new wave of blockchain where people can create not only a blockchain, which is a mathematical formula, but this blockchain can be used as a very, very special item, a special token. What they are used to identify things. It will be popular in the future, because blockchain technology will be able to use to identify CVs, certificates, and more. So with the technology, which came from Bitcoin originally and getting popular, because right now today you can buy a Tesla for 1 Bitcoin. So it came from everyday life, as from this underground hacker situation to the popular everyday economic situation. Blockchain could be used as a certificate identification, could be used for CVs in HR, and it could be a digital tracking system.
Yeah. There are companies already doing that. For example, BlockFi already does contract signing in blockchain. You know,
Absolutely.
and this is super safe. It's if for those who don't know what is a blockchain, I'm not going to explain you right here what is a blockchain, but
we will explain it, for example, in HR Fest Lupa, when we will able to meet each other. And,
we can give examples of how to use blockchain in your HR company. But yeah, there are some companies doing this validation of certificates, such as real estate. I know this one company called Propi. I'm just reading on my notes here. They're a real estate solution, and the feedback is that the real estate agents, they can spend more time taking care of the customer than doing operational stuff, such as writing contracts and validating, I don't know, if the person has money in the bank and the loans and this kind of things, because the blockchain already solves all of this in a very safe way.
What do you think about this social security number, which actually in the European Union, when we are talking about this social security system, we are talking about healthcare and other stuff. But in China, but in the US, if you have a low social security number, that means you are not eligible to get loan. It's you are not eligible to apply for specific jobs. And if we are talking about blockchain, this gives the opportunity for companies to be able to track digitally their employees. So digital tracking came as a new buzzword.
Digital tracking is a buzzword, is a trend for HR companies in the years 2020 and 2021. Digital
what do you think
tracking
about
is
digital tracking?
I think there is a good side to it, but it's a very fine line, right? When you talk about digital tracking, we are talking about the big brother. It's about companies that actually know what keys on your keyboard are you pressing, and what are you doing in front of your cameras, if the cameras can be even turned on and you don't know. Companies are not saints, right? They want to give you wellness as much as you give them the return on their investment. And of course, if a company is doing something to make their profit or make their productivity higher, who can say that is wrong, right? I mean, again, there is a fine line. We can talk about this for hours, because this goes from a sociological point of view, from an economical point of view, and from a philosophical point of view. And the 3 points of view are different, because you can look at the digital tracking from the human perspective. You can look at the digital tracking from companies that really want just to have the best employees doing whatever they want them to do for 8 to 9 hours. Or you can look at this as a philosophical point of view, that humanity is now a slave of their own devices, you know, and we can talk a lot about this. So I think this is a very hot topic for 2021. I'm not sure if companies should do it or if there is a way of how to do it. But in the end, I think that the biggest trend for 2020 and 2021 and the years to come is what we were discussing before, is the fact that people and companies are realizing that there is life before companies, you know, or beyond companies, not before companies, but of course before companies. There is a life, and people are realizing that this is more important than just working a 9-to-5 job. So
okay, let's going to a funnier buzzwords. If you remember, before the home working situation, before the remote work, there was a famous event, Bring Your Kids Friday.
Yeah.
It was I would say a life work balancer situation, which came from HR, where they try to make
we actually have to end the talk, Csaba, so wrap it up.
I see. So bring your family to the office changed recently, and
yes,
bring
we
your
brought
office.
the office to the family.
bring your office to the family. So this is the last buzzword which came 2020 and 2021. We can continue it later. Please subscribe for HR Fest Lupa, and we will continue it at the bar in the Lupa. As you know, if you want to meet us in every HR Fest, we always drinking coffee and tea and some other long drink. So
thank you very much, guys, for watching this. And if you want to connect with us on LinkedIn and have a conversation before, we're more than open for that.
Thank you, guys. It was really great.